today is what is called the extreme value theorem. The extreme value theorem is on page 188, and basically what it says is that, I could read it to you word for word. It says, if f is continuous on a closed interval a to b, then f has both a minimum and a maximum on the interval. Does that make any sense to you? Yeah? No. Extreme value theorem. This is what we're going to call it. Oh, EVT. Extreme value theorem. What it says is, if I have an interval in brackets, what does that mean in brackets? It's included. If I have an interval in brackets, then in that interval, there's going to be a top point and there's going to be a bottom point. A high point, a maximum, and a low point, a minimum. That's what the extreme value theorem means. Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. That if I'm graphing something, it's going to have a high and a low? So, what we're going to do today is talk about what those highs and lows are, or how to find them. As an example, is this, each one of these is 1. Do you think the mean or the extreme value theorem applies to that? Yes, because it doesn't have open circles. It's closed circles, so it's a closed interval. What is the maximum? The maximum is actually, the way they say it, the maximum is 2 at x equals 0. Does that make sense to you? Maximum is the y, but where does it occur? Okay? So what about a minimum? Would you say the minimum is 0? Where? No.
2
At plus or minus 2? That's what this theorem says. Can you do this? Okay. So what if I give you something like this? Okay. What is the maximum? Max 3 at x equals 0. There is no minimum. Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good with that?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Do we put no minimum or do we
I'm
stop?
expecting something for it.
You don't have to put anything.
Okay.
Because all it says is identify a minimum or maximum. I identified a maximum, there wasn't a minimum. What about one that looks, okay, I just want to make sure I'm covering everything that I need to cover, and I lost my, it's all right. You're right. I'll get right on that. This is A, this is B, this is C. All right? Here is my picture. Here is my graph. All right? Identify the x value where this is what it says. Identify an x value where an absolute extreme occurs. absolute extreme is the honestly goodness, highest or lowest. Honest maximum, honest minimum. The absolute, the only one that happens. All right? So, is there a maximum?
Yes.
And it said identify the x value. So a maximum at B. Agreed? Now, the second thing is, does the extreme value theorem apply? No. Because extreme value theorem says it's a closed interval. Is it closed? No.
So if it has any open circles, the extreme value.
If it has any, that's correct.
So any in the line?
Yes. Closed means there's no discontinuities. It's continuous everywhere. All right?
So will they ever give us two lines? And will that apply there? If we're given like two lines now?
Oh, no.
No?
No, that wouldn't be an extreme value theorem because they wouldn't be continuous. All right. If I give you the problem, f of x equals 1 over x plus ln of x, and I want this from 1/2 to 4. I want you to find, and it says use analytic methods, meaning algebra, meaning work the problem out to find the highest and the lowest. Now, is it true when the graph turns around, the derivative is equal to 0?
Yeah, unless.
Is that true?
Yes.
Well, if it goes to a minimum or a maximum. If the graph does this, or the graph does this, isn't the derivative equal to 0? So the first thing I'm going to do is find the derivative and set it equal to 0. That's the first thing I'm going to do. All right? What is the derivative of this?
1/2 plus 1 at 1 over x.
Wait a minute. It's what?
1/2 plus 1 over x. Yeah.
Negative x.
Plus 1 over x.
Oh, x is on top. It's okay. Yep. Got it.
Right? Thank you, girls.
Dude, how does that graph over there equal 0? Because wouldn't that be like x squared and equals 2x?
But yeah.
I was just showing where a max or min would be. I wasn't graphing this. So now how do I set this equal to 0? Is this negative 1 over x squared equals negative 1 over x?
Yeah.
Because if I have two fractions equal to each other, how do I solve them?
Cross multiply.
Cross multiply.
So x squared equals negative.
I like your answer.
I think x squared equals x.
So 1.
Are they both?
And that's the only time we can do that, right? Or am I wrong?
So no, x squared minus x equals 0. X minus 1. So what is x? 0 and 1?
Oh, 0. Forgot about 0.
Forgot about 0. So, to find what I actually found are what are called critical points. Points that something happens. That's what those are called. Critical points. So now, what I need to find is, do I need to use 0?
Yes. No.
No, because it's not in my interval.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I have to use my endpoints and my critical numbers. Everybody with me? I can't do this in my head.
I can't even-
Sorry, I can't do ln of a half. I can do ln of 1,
What is that?
0.
I got 1.3.
On the first one?
Yeah.
So what you woke up?
Thanks. Wait, no, it's not. Hold on.
So we plug it into the original?
F of, yes.
Okay, how about negative 1.9? Or no,
What?
0.1.
I just got a 1.386.
1.306. I do it first.
I think I did.
Did you put in 1 over 1/2 plus ln 1/2?
Mm-hmm. I should get that. I got it.
What?
What?
I got one.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, we did that.
should it be 307?
Yeah.
Okay, what is f of 4?
1.636.
Are we in agreement this time? Okay. So my question is, what's the minimum? What's the maximum?
1.387.
This is a minimum, isn't it?
Oh. Yes.
Starts.
Where's the maximum?
4.
Okay?
Do we need to rewrite them the way that?
No, you can just tell me min and max. Ah. We are now. The next ones we are. Because why? Do you know, well, that's a good point. Do you know on your calculator how to find min and max?
Wait, yes. I did.
Apparently not.
You go to
Not all of us, Emma. Really?
Mm-hmm.
So if I have y equals the radical 3 plus 2x minus x squared. I need you to put that in your calculator.
Y.
Is yours in? Yours in? Okay, I think there's a maximum in there somewhere.
Yeah, I'd say about 2.
It has to be, it has to have a minimum maximum. Okay, so go to calculate.
It's right there.
Look
Oh.
in there what it tells you.
Hey, look, you.
To find a minimum or maximum, you have to put the little cursor on each side of the minimum or the max. Let's find the maximum. So go to maximum. Now, do you see where it about is? Put the cursor to the left and hit enter. Then put the cursor to the right and hit enter. Because you're telling it, this is the space where it is. Find it. And what did you get?
2.
An error.
2.
You got a maximum of 2.
How? 1.732.
At x equals 1. I think that's what your calculator gave you.
No.
Yeah,
What am I
it says
not?
like,
Well, but we only ran the 3 decimal places.
How?
Okay.
I get 1.732.
Don't, why do we have to move it up?
You have to get it to the left and hit enter, and the right and hit enter.
Y equals 2. Oh.
Guys.
Mine is, oh, max. 1.732.
That's what mine says too. Yes. You gotta do this.
Is it because I'm on degree mode?
I
did, but it
You
doesn't
left
do
and
that
right.
stuff. And we want it, we're over there.
See,
So we know it's gonna be
we
right
like
in
ready,
the
calculate,
So I'm on the left,
maximum.
then I hit enter.
No.
Why is mine?
Then I
Yeah,
move to
left
the
bound.
right, then I hit enter.
Left bound's here.
Then I hit
Go to
enter.
the right over here. That's
We're
right
in the
bound.
right area is why it did.
Yes.
So, okay, so you have the, where do you need
Left,
the
right, down, down,
cursors? Because I would put them like here and here.
Okay, put it like 0 and 2.
Okay.
See what you did.
I got the right answer.
You just have, okay?
Minimum, right, left bound.
Okay, looking at this graph, you could do the same thing for minimum, but can you find the minimum looking at the graph?
Yes.
Mine never hits right bound.
Okay, let's think about this. This is a radical. Is the square root out of it ever going to be below 0?
No.
No. It's not. So my minimum is going to be 0. Just by using my common sense. Right? The minimum is 0. Where? I think it happens twice.
I'm
Negative 1 and 3.
thoroughly confused.
Can't you find a 0? Isn't that an option under calculate?
I just separate that into zero.
How about that?
Wow, that's fantastic.
How did I get people?
Okay, so I go
But what about this dy over dx? That seems like a derivative.
maximum.
No sign change.
You want to be on the left.
Good, three on the left.
Left.
Okay.
Enter.
All right.
Now you want to be on the right of it.
Excellent.
Now
Good.
you're on the right of it now?
Yeah.
Still
Enter. Now, we don't want to guess. Just hit enter again.
do that.
Oh, it didn't do that last time.
Huh.
Okay.
Not a real answer. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
How is it
Minimum.
zeros? Because like when I do it, I can't like get it far enough.
Sometimes on the zeros of a radical, it's difficult because you can't get it to the left.
There we go.
Okay, apparently my minimum is 0.5 at 2.
All right, are we good?
Why zero is marked? That's not working.
Yeah, it's not working.
Let's see, let's go back to the graph. We want to calculate a zero.
Excellent. Bad guess.
And left of it,
You can find
want to be over here. See how I drew a line here? So I want to find the minimum between those two numbers. Oh, and it's not letting us because we're going off. I was afraid of that. So, could I just say, okay, I know it's 0. So, next I'll use and try. Okay, you all know how to use this calculate button now?
Nope. I still don't know. Honestly.
I don't know how to find the zero.
Well, this one is difficult because the graph quits at a 0. Do you want me to put one up here that we have a 0?
Yeah, look at that.
All right, good. Because I want to. All right, ready? This one? Find the extreme values are the directions.
Yeah,
No, but it's infinity, negative infinity to infinity, so it includes everything.
Oh, grab a minimum.
That looks pretty cool. I mean, you can just go second window. What's the alpha window? Alpha window, and you just go absolutely immediately.
Oh, okay. Nice. Cool. Thanks, Harrison.
You got a lot. Actually, no,
You got a lot of those in the testimonials, Harry.
I did.
Being dead serious.
I don't know. But I think it looks like this.
Negative.
Is it kind of backward C?
Yeah. Then,
I think it does this. Is that what it does?
yes.
Okay, we need to talk about this a little bit.
First you're negative 1. But that's
All right. How far down? What is this Y value? So it has a minimum of -5. Where?
X,
Everywhere.
X is less than
To
or
where?
equal
Where?
to
What's this number right here?
One.
I got negative
Seems like it's negative 2. I know why.
You got what?
negative 2 point.
I know why. I got negative 2.12.
I graphed it wrong, my bad.
I know.
Oh my gosh, they changed it a lot. Okay.
I have -2.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah, there's.
I have this.
yes.
Would you agree with that?
I would totally agree with that.
So what is the maximum?
That would be 5 to,
Greater than or equal to 3.
Maximum of 5?
Yes.
Yes.
And is it 3 to infinity?
Yep.
Now I wrote 1, 1, 1, 1 the other, so you will see either one of these is correct. Make sense?
yep.